What up, Wheatfield? What up? This is your girl Lottie. Up, we are still having a pajama day Saturday, y'all. It is a pajama day. I am not doing no. So, anywho, y'all, come on in. Welcome in, welcome in. This is your girl Lottie here from Tears and Wheat to Rose Show, where you show enough never know what you're gonna get. Huh. We just wanted to sit up here and pull some cards. I got my personal little deck. We got maybe somebody who's a truth speaker, somebody that come to balance the scales. Father say yes, take that off. Balance the scales, yes. We're gonna leave that there. That's kind of coinky-dink because I've been talking about that all day today, y'all. Balancing the scales, it has been a lot of conversation, a couple of different things, whether or not children are supposed to listen to grown-ups. When is, children considered a grown-up, an adult? Is it 18? Is it 21? Is it based on their ability to care for themselves, like move out the house and do all of this good stuff? And then another conversation was about women and men and balancing in that relationship dynamic too as well. Like, what constitutes a balanced relationship between men and women? Is it because, you, my brother, are able to care for your whole family and pay all the bills, and then, your wife is able to stay home and really, be in that nurturing kind of space where she cares for you, the kids, the house, and all of that stuff? And I thought, that's interesting because there's not a lot of men that are in that position where, you can have your earning capacity and the wife's earning capacity put together and provide that level of livelihood and to the mate, and allow them to stay home and be able to work at home, right? And so a part of that conversation was, okay, maybe that's just the dynamic, right? So if the wife or the woman is like, okay, we can work on I need to turn this down just a little loud. I don't want it to come out through the video. If the wife, works, then what is the dynamic and the balance there? If she goes outside the house, like the both of you go outside the house and work, what is the balance? Like, yeah, scales being balanced. Like, what is that balance? How do you find the balance? It's when one person works outside the house and one person works inside the house. Or when two people work outside of the house, and bringing everything in for the sake of the whole, right? And moving forward from there. Yeah. Well, what is the balance if the woman is the breadwinner? Because that is a scenario. Does the man feel less than? Like, should he quit his job and stay home and care for the kids? And what is it, again, a balanced dynamic? It's so many different ways that these relationships could go. And to balance the scale is a really big thing. And it seems like that's all people are talking about, chattering about this, whole modern woman, modern relationships type of scenario, right? So it's like, what is it that we need to do in order to balance these scales? Balance the scales, right? How do we do that? I don't know. I myself am the type of person who thinks we both go outside of the house. We both work in a relationship. We both service a relationship. But there's so many things that's going on in how we service our relationships. How do the relationships even develop? Most High God, please come in, the eternal Lord of all. Yes, please come in, granting me with the access to the infinite intelligence of the all and the breath of life. Let us have a message, a conversation that is edifying unto self, so that I may edify you, edify your wheat, so that they may edify you. Let us come together over this situation, balancing out these scales, so that we may come together in our cosmic power power and magnify so that we can edify the source. Yes. So as we were pulling, talking and flipping these cards, we feel energy here. Past life relationships, love yourself first and trust. Look at that. Love yourself first. I talk about that all the time. You cannot love you can only love somebody else at the same capacity that you love yourself. So if you are struggling with any parts of you, beloved, you're going to struggle with that in another person. And oftentimes a lot of this conversation is projection. It really is. Look at that. Past life relationships, and not only past life relationships, but the fact that, just relationships in your past in this life. And that is whether it's relationship with parents, whether it's relationships with other people, the others are just the ones before me, the ones, how it go. Relationships, especially parents, that's a huge thing. Because I feel like a lot of people are so, dealing, there's healing that still needs to be done. Healing and development, right? A lot of people believe that, I got to get a sip. We needed to get a sip. I guess these soup coolers. Anywho, water. Look, healing. A lot of people are still struggling with healing. Issues from childhood, inner child stuff, and it hasn't really been addressed. So, if you are one of my brothers who had a single parent household, for whatever the reason may be, there could be some issues that are still left down in there that needs to be resolved. And to resolve those things is highly important. To look at how did you formulate your idea of what a relationship is supposed to be. How did it come about? If did you have a lot of good positive male role models? What was the relationship with those men? Like, what was the teachings? What did they model for you? Did they model healthy marriages where there was mutual respect and partnership in the home? Or did you see them wanting to exercise control or feel, like that leadership role? Like, I say and what I say goes kind of thing. I was in conversation earlier today looking at PTSS. And how does that affect our relationships in these days? So post-traumatic slave syndrome also, it leaves an imprint that we may not readily be able to discern and see how is that imprint still present in our lives, right? So if you are a man looking at another man who gives orders and barks and manages people, right? And then their woman is sitting up in the big house with servants and, sitting pretty and just, delicate flower. You might develop a certain type of mindset of what marriage is supposed to look like. Now, I'm not saying this is 100% the whole thing, because there's a whole lot of layers to this. And I feel like oftentimes conversations oversimplify. So in this moment, I'm definitely simplifying, right? I'm being complicit in oversimplification, but only to make the point. After emancipation, us, folks, still had to work. Women still worked the same way they were working in the field or working in the house. They still worked in the field and in the house. And when we think about sharecropping itself, it really didn't end in the States until like the 50s or the 60s. And if this is 2022, we really haven't been out of that environment but about 60 something years. Again, even the Voting Act rights, like black women didn't have full citizenship in this country until when? The 60s? So women and us as brown people generally have not had the economic footing to support a one person income household. The person that I was conversing with today, respect him so much. You know, he's a really, really, really good dude. But he can willingly say that, you know, the jobs that women hold generally pay more than what jobs our brothers hold. Service industry jobs versus non-service industry. And we can point back to the fact that black women were educated, like the young girls, they, again, that nursing syndrome, we were sent off to become nurses and something of the sort. But it increased the value of education in that demographic. It's not by chance that black women are the most educated demographic in the state. It's not. We were taught that we needed to have that in order to be providers, to provide in the household. The same way that men were taught how to work in that service industry to be a provider. It is not coincidence that we are in this state. It is not coincidence that our households were broken the way that they were. It's not. It's not coincidence that we model a system of marriage that is really foreign to us as brown people. It's not how we normally do business. It's just not. It's another one of those layers that we've taken on that we really don't pay attention to. New love is on the table. Because maybe we really need to move into a different direction in how we love. Not just the fact that we have the capacity to love, but how do we love on each other in terms of sympathy and empathy and compassion and understanding, how we value one another. How do we value the works of each other's hands? Yes, again, how do we balance the scales? Yes. I know a lot of brothers who enter into relationships broken. If they're not broken, then they could be behind the ball on a lot of things. I know plenty of women that enter in relationships broken, unhealed from trauma and past dealings. And we bring that baggage with us. Not too often do I see whole, healthy people aware of their purpose and full self, well, as much as you can be aware, enter into relationships. People generally attract out of a state that is not where you would build a relationship from. Yeah, because people need to be able to retreat. They don't. They don't walk away from that. And they also don't do this. Real heart-to-heart conversations. Real heart-to-heart conversations. Even if that conversation needs to be with yourself first. Again, often people get together out of loneliness, out of an unwillingness to be with self, or an unwillingness to develop a relationship based on the right thing. How oftentimes do you get with a girl just because she looks good? What about the girl who had the values to hold you down in your brokenness or as you come up? Is that the woman that you married? Or is she the one that you leave because you don't have a real obligation to be with her? Like you don't owe her anything because she's stuck with you. But then the other side of that coin is that you get with a woman who looks to be the caliber that you want, but she doesn't have the loyalty to you. It's Squinky Dink. Again, heart-to-heart conversations. Heart-to-heart conversations. My sisters, a lot of them grew up without dads. Nobody to take care of them. Nobody to provide security and stability. You go out into a world where men only look at you for your sexuality, your sensuality. So you dress yourself the part, and you get a man who values you, who only approached you because you look good. And then listen to him tell you that he doesn't value your mind or what you can really bring to the table, because really what he wants you to do is dress the table. Put the tablecloth on it. Cook some food to put on it. And then maybe put yourself up on it, you know what I'm saying? A little kitchen action. But that's only part of a relationship. It's only part. Are you truly fulfilled, sis, in that scenario? Is that the reason why, so many men want 18, 19-year-old girls so that they can raise them to be their wife and groom them in such a way? That was another part of our conversation. Are you looking for a grown child that you can tell what to do and they will comply? They won't give you an opposing viewpoint. They won't help you see things from a different perspective. They won't challenge you to rise above your current space or do anything different. Yeah. Pay attention to the red flags in that. How does that help you grow, brother? How does that push you to your next level? Yeah. Yeah, they're not optimistic. They're not. It's not optimistic. No. Because you don't see that as a blessing, as a good thing. Me giving you an opposing viewpoint is not being argumentative. It's helping you look at things from the other side. It's to do what? Balance the scale. Because if everything is leaned over to your side, that's not balance. We're supposed to help each other. It's supposed to be a helpmate. A helpmate is not a robot. They're not somebody to just to submit to you and help you do what you don't want to do. And many of these relationships are built because either somebody wants a trophy and she's pretty and she can sit there on the shelf but get mad when she acts like a trophy. Something that does no work or no service because she's designed to look pretty and sit on the shelf. Oh, but the person who will service you may challenge you to think, to consider an alternative viewpoint. Now, should it be aggressive? No. But you shouldn't choose to be in a relationship with someone who is aggressive like that, because that speaks to some things that need to be healed. But we don't always see that when you yourself need to be healed. It's a little difficult to see when you still have a speck in your own eye. How do you see me clearly, beloved, if you are unable to see you clearly? How is it that you bring a woman, a young woman, into your life and then get mad because she acts like a child? Well, she is a child. Yeah, that's why you would feel like you need to raise her and tell her which way to go, because she hasn't developed. She's underdeveloped. And if you two are peers, why would you think you know more than she does about where you two are both going? Don't you need to grow and develop together? There's something very odd about a 30 or 40-year-old man who seeks young girls, young women, 18, 19, 20. She can't even go to the bar and buy a drink. Not in the States anyway. and you feel like she's on par with you, no. You want someone who doesn't give you resistance, that you can mold and train. That is a child. That's not a wife. It's not a helpmate. The only thing she can do is help you relieve yourself, cook your meals, and raise your children. Only help you do the things that you don't want to do yourself. And here's the kicker. It's not a whole lot of people in that scenario, like in that box, and that percentage is really not. The percentage is very, very small. Very small. Most of us common stock folk, it takes a two-person income to manage the household. Two people. So if it takes the both of us and we both work outside of the home, do you think that it is fair for both of you to work outside the home, bring home the money to take care of the home, but then you don't participate in parenting your children or cooking meals or the maintenance of the house itself? Like, you have an expectation that your wife is to do the womanly duties, all while she needs to work and help provide for the lifestyle that you two both live. Religious factors are in reverse. Look at that. Religious factors are in reverse. I wonder why that is. Your love life is being influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. I shade of that. I shade of that. Yeah, because a lot of people have a distorted view of what even religion or spirituality says marriage should be. I tend to have a different viewpoint, just is, but I tend to be a little bit different. Yeah, I believe that men and women are to come together in purpose and service unto the Most High God. Yeah, I'm not supposed to just meet up with a man and contend to his vision. No, I think that we will have a common vision. Like, it will come together because we are designed to do a thing, like to perform a work, a service, onto the Most High God. Yeah. And I believe that we both should be submitted onto the Most High God. That's another thing that I think is odd. So many men require submission, but yet they are not submitted unto the Lord. They're not. There's some that don't really have a relationship with the Lord. And they actually believe that because they are high earners, these high earning, high value men, that it gives them the right to be very egocentric and do things that are quite the opposite of what the Most High God would say is high vibrational. Doesn't lean on to sympathy, empathy, understanding, or compassion, especially for the person that you've vowed to be with, that you've made covenant with. Just a thought. Would you not need to be submitted and be highly honorable and ethical? Because even in that spiritual path, it says that a man is to treat his woman, his wife, as the messenger treats the Most High. Like, it's pretty much that principle, is it not? Yeah. You are supposed to reverence your wife the way that you reverence the Most High God. But people don't do that. Would you give the Most High? But see, you know what? Maybe they do. Ooh, source, that was good, wasn't it? Yeah. Because check it. If you are a man that doesn't really have a relationship with the Most High God, or you only go to the Most High God for your desires, and you don't stop to ask, what would the source, the Most High, have for you to do? Then that's how you're going to treat other people. Like they are beholden to you for your purpose. Like source is supposed to deliver you your blessings, but you're not doing the work that the source sent you to do. Oh, you work, brother. You be getting it in. You know, for those of you that are in that cream of the crop, you know what I mean, that feel like you can command that from the market. Yeah. You doing it. You done made it there. But are you doing what the source has asked you and commanded you to do? Are you holding your honor? Are you feeding back to your community goodness and kindness? That which will grow more goodness and kindness. That which you could serve up to the Most High God. Is that what it is that you're serving out? And you expect someone else to blindly submit? And then you choose a child to do it with the promise of security. If you just be a good little girl and do like Daddy says. It's safe to love. It's not. You want to know why? Because people truly aren't loving each other. It's not love. Well, it is love, but it's just because love is a frequency. But the type of love you give comes again from that internal space. What's going on in there? Are you looking to dominate your role, brother, your world, and everything in it? Yeah. What man doesn't want that? Of course, you want to be the head. And having a woman that stands side by side with you and not slightly behind somehow threatens that. I'm not really for sure why. I could think of the fact that maybe the woman that you're matched up with is probably not your mate. Just saying. What is the space that you called? What is the space you're operating? As a woman, I have to ask myself the same thing. Am I looking for another father? Somebody to take care of me and tell me what to do? To command me, to make me feel safe like I should have felt safe when I was a little girl? I want a partner. Someone that I can collaborate with. We can work with each other and do this. Balance the scales. Somebody that we can rise together. Support one another. Flow around each other like the yin and the yang. I don't see any part of the yin or the yang standing behind the other. They are side by side. They balance. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I could be unhealthy, unhealed, you know. Maybe that's why, I'm bitter. It's not being bitter, beloved, to want to be valued and respected. It's not. How many times, ladies, have you given your man a suggestion only for him to kick it to the side and then in 2 weeks be like, come up with a suggestion that's just like the one you just put out there? It happens. Fellas, how many times at work in the office does your boss not take up your suggestion only to turn around and suggest something that's highly similar to what you just said 2 weeks ago? Stealing your credit. We don't see how we pass that along in our relationships. We do it all the time. And it's classic when you feel like you don't have control. You seek to control others who are, you deem, to be weaker than you. It is so many brothers out here spitting this vitriol like this Andrew Tate dude and this other guy, Adonis something, whatever. This dude, Adonis, whoever, is sitting up in this state trashing women. You bitter, lonely so-and-sos. His wife looks afraid in their picture. Like he's all hugging her from the back. She's not even smiling. She's not even smiling. What woman doesn't, when her man, her love is up on her? Maybe because she feels controlled and like a child. This is what I see as a channeled messenger. That's the energy I got. She didn't feel like a loved wife, somebody who's treated with reverence and respect. She looked like she was treated like somebody who's supposed to do everything that he don't want to do and make him feel like a big man. No arguments, no disagreements. Not an argument, but just an opposing viewpoint. I don't believe that people should argue in relationships. I don't. There's no reason for us to argue. It's not my place to convince you of my viewpoint. I give it to you, you give me yours. We don't agree, let's go pray. And I don't think we should come make a move until prayer has answered us and let us know that this is the right thing for us to do. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it is. But to come from a position that all of us are going to let your friends help you. Yeah, brother. We're supposed to be in friendship and we're supposed to help each other. To do a service, to do a work that the Most High God has put us together to do. And there's power in that. You pick up somebody that you only want them to do is pick up after you. You left half of your team on the bench and you still worried while you stressed. And many of those men still cheat. They do because it's not fulfilling, not really. It's not like all of those men who get a submissive wife come home to her every night and don't seek other outside vices. They do. And then the thought is that she's supposed to accept it because he pays the bills. Where did we get this from? Did we see an example from people? I mean, look at the morals and ethics. And we think that that is the way for us to go. Me sitting pretty in the big house, doing nothing, with everybody else running around chasing my children, with everybody else cooking the meals, with everybody else cleaning up, and my husband sitting over there ordering people around and barking stuff. And and despite having it all, still has mistresses, the ability to sneak in and out and go and create outside babies and outside children. Leaving that in wreckage. Wreckage just left everywhere. And my only recourse as a woman is to boss around those who I feel are beneath me. The maids, the cooks, those who serve me. And we wonder why we're in such a way. Is that really the example of marriage we want to continue? We've always had to work together, come into unison and work together. We worked together in the fields side by side, or I worked in the house and you were in the field. Before then, everybody played a role. You had to work and I had to work. No matter how it balanced, the work balanced, and we value each other. I don't disrespect you because you're the hunter and I'm a gatherer. What? No. There's been a system in place that keeps us separated, and it continues today. The mindset that your money buys loyalty is backwards. It doesn't. It buys manipulation. The same way that woman was looking on that Adonis, whoever, picture, his wife, who he probably pays all the bills for her to do the submissive stuff. Yeah, the cook is not submission because that's not submission. You just want somebody to be a live-in maid that you can, have relations with. Yeah. That woman is probably sending a good portion of that money back home to her family in her homeland. So who's manipulating who? You mean to tell me that it's really hard work to cook a meal and do laundry and take care of kids? It's not. And you take care of me and I live for free and my living conditions has increased and improved to what? And you're going to send money back to my family? Yeah. You're still a servant, sir. You're being manipulated and you don't even think about it like that. Not the same, to each their own. Hey, everybody got to balance their scales. Everybody has to balance. But this is a dark psychology that is really affecting the relationships of common people. Because again, there's only a small percentage of men that actually fit in that bucket. 34% of American families earn over $100,000 a year. 34%, that's it. Men, it's only 11% of women that earn over $100,000 by themselves. So the rest of that percentage is men, yes. But what is that, like 20%? And then out of that, who are in my demographic? It's not very many of you. It's not. Listen to Kevin Samuels when he said it's like you fighting for like the top 5 to 1% of men. And so you mean to tell me that 90% of the population seeking to have healthy relationships are listening to 5% of the men? They are listening to men, and they will never be in a position to exercise their financial power in that capacity. But you want women to act for you in that way. You can't afford it, brother. I'm just technically telling you the truth. You cannot afford that. You cannot afford on your $60,000 income for a woman to do that. You just cannot afford it. If you cannot replace my income, which means if I earn 60 and you earn 60, if you can do 120K for our lifetime and that allows me to stay home and do things that you would pay somebody else to do, like you would pay for somebody to do your laundry. You would pay for somebody to cook for you. You would pay somebody to be for you to escort them. If you can't pay and replace my wages, then how could you dismiss me? How could you dismiss what we do bring to the table? Because we coming in probably almost even. If you're not coming into my space, because how many men move in with their girlfriend? Coming right out of their parents' house and into living with a woman. How many men have never had their own place? This is a much deeper issue, and people do not talk about all of the facets. We listen to these incels, in which these men are like in the 5 to 1% again of the population, as if this is common. It's not. Don't get caught up in the hype. Folks around here drinking the relationship old Kool-Aid. Put the cup down. Drink some water. Get some real flow up in here. I'm just saying, water. Something that's good for you. So that you don't be walking around here disillusioned, drunk off power, drunk off your money. Still a drunkard. What is we gonna do? Source help us. This is your girl Lottie. We having a whole pajama day. Just want to come in and do a little conversation. You know what I mean? Talk talk about why it is that we can't get together. Why we can't magnify our power and really do some real shit out here, bro. I mean, real shit. I don't know. Balance the scales. Some work that needs to be done. And we need each other to do it. We do. Regardless of what you've seen, regardless of what you've heard, there's real women who are wanting and desiring real men, healthy women who desire healthy men. We're here. To the next now. We'll call this one Ashe.